Welcome back. Okay, so I know that my lighting is awful, and I know that my sound is probably not that great because I'm using a headset, but I tried it without the headset, just using a mic, and it was even worse because it kept picking up the TV sound. So, I'm using this headset for now. My lighting sucks. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get more stuff. I'm going to get this all figured out, I promise. But for right now, this is going to have to do because the only other option is just to wait until I get it all together and then start filming. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to make stuff now. Like right now. So, I'm going to do this video right here. It is 4 steps to going all in for God, which for those of you all who know me, and for those who don't, this is my struggle. Like I struggle with the whole God thing. Like I believe in God, obviously, and I used to live in church, but lately I have a hard time going. I feel like I'm completely alone. I feel like he has nothing or wants nothing to do with me. And it's hard. So we're going to watch this video and see what this man has to say. And
How to be all in for God. If you're wanting to give your all to God, this is the video for you. I'm going to share 4 steps on how to go all in for God. All 4 steps are given to us from Jesus in Revelation 3:14 through 20. When we look at these verses, Jesus is talking about a church in Laodicea that was not all in. They were lukewarm. In verses 14 through 16, he says, "You are neither hot nor cold." This church in Laodicea, they lived in between 2 places, Hierapolis and Colossae. Hierapolis had hot springs, Colossae had cold springs. And when the water supply in Laodicea would go out, they would have to pump in water from these 2 places. As they did that, what would happen is they would get this big calcium buildup in the pipes, and the water that was lukewarm was actually toxic. Jesus isn't saying that he hates lukewarm water, that he never drank room temperature water. What he's saying is, you, church in Laodicea, who I'm talking to, who I'm writing to, you of all people know what it means to be lukewarm, because the lukewarm water that you're used to tasting, you spit it out of your mouth because you know it's toxic from that calcium buildup. He's calling them out of a life of toxicity. Lukewarm Christianity is toxic for the church.
that's me. And that's why I don't go to church. Like I'm not going to be this hypocrite and go to church and pretend to be all in if I'm not all in. Like, I'm not going until I'm all in. I'm not going until I'm 100% for him. And so this is me exactly.
People who are on the fence, indecisive, are toxic in the church. They serve the world, they serve God, they serve money, they serve Jesus. They're on the fence. Then he tells us 4 steps out of lukewarm Christianity. He shows us 4 steps on how to be all in for God. Number 1 is wait. It says in verse 17, "For you say, I am rich, I have prospered, I need nothing, not realizing that you are wretched, poor, blind, and naked." To wake is to realize you've been sleeping, to realize you're not as rich or as prosperous or as perfect as you think you are. The people in Laodicea, they were thinking that they are righteous in and of themselves. They've done a lot of good things. They're a pretty good person. You know, I'm not as bad as so-and-so or the church down the block. They had gotten to the point where they stopped realizing that they need God for their righteousness. They needed to wake up. Number 2 is take. Look at verse 18. It says, "I counsel you to buy from me gold refined by the fire, so that you may be rich, in white garments, so that you may clothe yourself, and the shame of your nakedness may not be seen." He's saying, buy from me your righteousness. He's saying, take from me. Jesus is saying, take.
And see, this is another thing for me. Like, I would love to be able to read the Bible and understand it, but I don't. I don't. It doesn't. Like, even what that man just read right there, and obviously he explained it, but just to read it myself, I would have no idea what that meant. no idea what that meant. And maybe that's because I'm not close enough to God and all that. Maybe because I haven't given myself completely to Him. Maybe. I don't know.
Take from me my righteousness,
It's just
because
hard.
you don't have righteousness of your own. Take from me. To take means to trust in, to believe. When you go to a store, you go inside the store and you buy that item and you take it with you knowing that I needed this item's going to help me, I believe it's going to help me. That's why you're taking it with you. To go to Christ is to say, God, I need your righteousness. Help me to take it. Number 3 is shake. Look at verse 20. It says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Jesus is saying he's knocking at the door of this church's heart. It's time for them to open up the door and shake his hand. When someone comes to your house and they knock on your door and you invite them in, one thing that we do is we shake their hands and we look in their eyes and we welcome them into our house. For a lot of us, and for this church in Laodicea, they had left Jesus on the front step for a long time. They had never opened up that door. They had never shook his hand. Looking at Jesus' eyes and shaking his hands, it means welcoming him in to your life. Have you done that? And number 4.
So, have I done that? When I was young, I got saved. But I was a teenager at the time. And I don't know that I ever did it the right way, wholeheartedly, or if it was just like the thing to do. So no, I honestly don't think that I've ever opened the door. I've tried, and I know when you say try, it's crazy. It sounds like, oh, you're trying, but I don't. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I honestly have no clue what I'm doing. And I know everybody's like, oh, you're not going to feel this, you're not going to do that, you're not going to see him, you're not going to talk to him, you're not going to know that he's even around, you just got to believe. And that is so freaking hard for me. Like, I don't know why, but it is. It's just, let's get back.
Is cake. What does Jesus say in verse 20 he will do when we shake his hand, when we open up that door? He says he will come in and dine with us. To eat with someone in this culture, and even in today's culture, is an intimate thing. To look at someone's eyes across the table, to share a meal, to hold a fork in your hand while another person holds a fork in their hand, and to look at each other and to laugh and to talk. And what he's saying is, I don't just want to have a first course meal with you. I don't just want to have a little kind of snack with you. I want to have cake with you. I want to get all the way past the whole meal, all the way to dessert. I want to spend a whole entire evening with you, the evening of eternity. Eating cake with him, dining with him, being intimate with him can be a daily thing, a lifelong thing. So we know we need to wake, we know we need to take, shake, and cake. How do we tie it all together? You have to look at what Jesus did. Jesus felt the hot, scorching flames of hell. Jesus felt the cold shoulder from the Father on the cross, so you and I cannot be lukewarm. Jesus submersed himself completely into death and into the wrath of God, so you and I could be all in to God's purpose and God's love for our life. The more you look at Jesus' life and how all in he was to the Father's will, the more it gives you the power to live all in for God. It gives you the power to wake up. It gives you the power to take his righteousness to be your own. It gives you the power to invite him in, to shake his hand, to look into his eyes, and to sit and to have cake with him, be immersed and intimate into a relationship with him. So the question is, and you can answer this in the comments, what is keeping you from going all in? I love you.
It's a good question. What is keeping me from going all in? You know, I used to think that it was friends, family. You know, no one else was doing it. Everybody else was drinking and having a good old time and living it up. I never was a drinker. I never was a partier, you know. I never really done anything real bad, honestly. But yet, I feel like the bads that I've done was too bad, and that he just turned his back on me, and that he's just like, you know what? I wash my hands, because I was that person who, when got in trouble, would go to him and just one more chance, and I promise I'll never turn my back on you again. And then I would turn my back on him the very next day, or as soon as I got out of the trouble. So to me, I feel like, you know what, he's been over this so many times with me that he's just like, you know what, you're on your own. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm completely on my own. But anyways, this was a great video. This guy clearly has a great relationship with God and knows what he's talking about. And I'm going to watch some more of his videos, I'm sure. Alex Wilson, thank you for spreading the good word and trying to help people like me. I appreciate it. And until next time, guys, like, subscribe, share, help me get out there a little bit. Thanks for watching.